not any gymnastics, no dance, no athleticism even. And we build it right from the ground up, and it's really cool to see students who thought they could never do something like that doing crazy things upside down.
So you get the students who've never done anything into your class. What's the first thing you start with doing on your classes?
We start with walks.
Okay.
Just walk around it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We start with lots of tricks on the floor, lots of spinning, more dancing, and then as you progress, you end up climbing and then eventually upside down.
Oh, wow. So you got to kind of build strength in that too by doing the other things
Yeah,
first.
we want to make sure we keep everybody safe. It is a dangerous sport, so progressing slowly and safely is really important. We've got crash mats and stuff like that.
Oh, do you? Okay,
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And where do you teach at again?
It's called Ivy's Studio.
Ivy
Boutique.
Studio, okay.
Yeah, it's right downtown.
Right downtown. Okay, great. And do you have like a Facebook page or anything or a website that people can contact?
We do, yeah. The Facebook page is just under Ivy's Studio Boutique, so really easy to look up. And I think the website is ivystudioboutique.ca.
Okay.
So, and they've got lists of classes up there and kind of everything we offer.
Okay, neat.
Yeah.
You're watching Feel the Beat with DJ B here on Jess FM, Jess TV. Thank you for tuning in this morning with our special guest, Kayla Glynn. She is a local head brewer at Theoretically Brewing Company, and as well she is a pole dancing instructor, which is very interesting. Not too many people do that in town. How many instructors are there?
There are 3 of us currently right now.
Okay.
And then my instructor, who taught me, still teaches every once in a while at the studio as well.
Oh, neato. Cool. So if you had to pick one of the things that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever you're involved in, which one would you pick?
Oh, don't make me pick just one.
you got one to pick. Which one would you pick?
Oh my gosh, that's so difficult.
The one that brings you the most passion and that is the most rewarding.
I suppose I would pick brewing.
Yeah.
I guess just because that's my career goal.
Mhm.
That's my long-term goal. It's such a great industry. Like, everyone is so kind and cooperative, and it's a really interesting career because it's creative. It's very tangible. You know, you put in your work, and at the end of the day, you have something to show for it.
Mhm.
And it's very physically active too, which is nice because it kind of keeps you moving, and
Mhm.
it feels good. So I like making things with my hands, but I like being creative. I like having to think of new recipes and think of the science behind it. And so I feel like it's very fulfilling because it's all of those things. But dancing for me will always be a part of my life, so you don't get to take that one.
Okay, fair enough. There you go. And it's easy to see with your creativity how it could morph into that, like how you morphed into that type of hobby, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it is creative, but it's also strength related in that too. So, you know, both of your jobs are kind of related in a sense.
They are
you
similar
could say,
in
right?
that way. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, the creativity, because you're involved in recipes, you said a bit too, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what beer would you like to create?
Ooh, the next thing on my list is probably trying to make something with tea. So, yeah, so there exists some really interesting tea beers out there. So you can take something like an Earl Grey or green tea and use it in your beer to give it entirely new flavors that you can't get from hops or yeast.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of something new and experimental I'm playing with at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So would that, you brew beer the same way, but what about the caffeine? Because there's a lot of caffeine in tea. Would that affect flavor or anything of the beer at all?
I think that the amount of tea that you need to impart the flavor into the beer, you're not going to get that much caffeine.
Okay.
You only need a little bit of tea to get a big amount of flavor, but there's not that much caffeine in a little bit of tea.
Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. Yeah, because you know you always hear that caffeine or tea has a lot more caffeine than coffee. They say, right? So, you know, if it just kind of wonder if it conflicted there. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think
right.
so. It shouldn't. But I mean, if
Yeah.
we manage to make a beer that also gives you a little bit of
Yeah,
caffeine.
well, for sure, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Not that beer doesn't do that anyhow when you drink too much of it, right?
That's a different kind of kick.
Different kind of kick, right? It affects people in different ways, but
That's true.
it's interesting. I'm a DJ, I've seen a lot of that, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure
It's
you've
pretty
seen all of it.
interesting seeing what it does, so it's pretty funny. But well, that's really cool that you've got all that on the go. You're a young person and just a go-getter. That's really great. So would you like to eventually own your own whole brewing company? Do you think that would be a goal that you would have?
It's definitely been something that's been on my list for a long time. It's a lot of work. I've seen it through working really closely with Kelty and Chris at Theoretically. So a lot of paperwork, a lot of hours. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I do feel really lucky to be part of an established brewery where I get to be involved, but not have to worry about the paperwork side.
Right.
Yeah, I can see in the future maybe getting into something like that, or expanding it in other ways. But right now I'm really excited to just grow within the company.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So when you were a little girl growing up in Calgary, did you envision yourself doing that, or did you have other aspirations when you were young?
Oh no, I wanted to be a doctor.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Why did you want to be a doctor?
I like the idea of helping people, and
Nice.
I've always loved science,
Yeah.
and that kind of seemed like a natural transition, I guess. Yeah, but other interests kind of took the forefront.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 15 years of school is a lot, or however long it takes these days.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a lot for being a doctor, for sure. So how do your parents feel about, you wanted to be a doctor, you probably expressed that to them when you were a young girl, right? So how do they feel about the path that you've taken, and especially your pole dancing? What did they say about it?
They are so supportive.
Oh, that's
they're
good.
so supportive. Yeah, they're always cheering me on. They've got my back, which is really amazing. They've always kind of been like, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Put your mind to it and you can do it. So, they've stuck with me through lots of career changes and being in school, not being in school, traveling, working. They always just say, take care of yourself. Don't burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's the
always
main
cheering
thing,
me
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Good. That's great to have that support. That's what you need, right? Because it, gives you that drive even better. So you mentioned traveling too. Where have you
Yeah.
traveled to?
Oh, I've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah?
When I came into Lethbridge, I did a year of university,
Okay.
and then I decided I wanted to take some time off and travel for a couple of years. So I ended up coming back to my chemistry degree. So in the meantime, I lived in Thailand on my own for 3 months, which was my
wow.
first big trip.
Yeah? Wow.
And since I've been to Australia, Morocco, Cuba, where else? Germany, Amsterdam, London, France, Italy. There's
Wow.
been a couple trips in there.
Yeah, that's a lot of places. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
I
Which-
love to travel.
Which one was your favorite of all those?
Oh, Thailand.
Was it?
Yeah. Thailand has my whole heart. The food is so amazing.
Is it?
The beaches are beautiful.
Yeah.
And the people are so kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's really cool. So you'd like to go back there then probably quite a bit if you could, right?
I would. It's so hard to decide, though, between going back to places that you love and going somewhere new.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I would love to go back and visit Thailand, and then also go to Vietnam and Cambodia, kind of around there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
do a
re-
bit of scuba diving too. So
Oh,
that's
do
a
you?
good place to do it. Yeah.
Wow. You're involved in scuba diving too. That's really cool.
So many hobbies.
Yeah. So, wow. How did you get into scuba diving?
It was in Thailand, actually. A scout approached me on a boat and said, "Hey, would you like to try this out?" And I didn't have anything else to do, so I was like, "Sure,
Wow.
let's try it." And it's incredible. Like being able to breathe underwater
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
And I went scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef, which is incredible.
Oh, did you?
in
Wow,
Australia.
that would be really cool.
Yeah. Every time I go somewhere warm, I try to make sure to get a dive in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how much training did you receive to be able to dive? Was it just spur of the moment? They push you in and go, there you go, with all the gear on. There you go, poof, Okay, now what, right?
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
No, they have a pool that you train in first to get
Okay.
used to the equipment,
All right.
and there's a lot of reading and quizzes and stuff to make sure you know your theory. And then the course is over 3 days, so you do a couple dives over those 3 days, you practice your skills, and then you're ready to go. Most of the time when I go diving now, it's always with the dive master who knows the area.
Mhm.
And so they're around, they're experts, they know, if something was to go wrong, they can help you out. I wouldn't really go diving on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the training is pretty quick. You can do it if you're on holiday.
Oh, wow.
Easily, yeah.
That's pretty neat, yeah. So, and you don't have to get a certification or anything. You just take that course, like there's a lot of certified scuba divers, they say, but that's probably more extensive, I'm assuming.
Well, that is your first certification. So the 3 days is your open water certification.
Oh, okay.
And that means you can dive anywhere. And then there's an advanced certification, which means you can dive deeper, you can dive at night.
Oh, okay.
That
Gotcha.
kind of thing. And then after that, you get into rescue diving, dive master, which allows you to teach others to dive, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's levels.
There is levels.
Yeah.
Wow. So that is also another hobby then, you might say. Well,
Yeah.
That's good. Well, that's great. You're involved in a lot of things, and that's really great. Making an impact in the community, and that's what we need here in Lethbridge. We need young people to do that, and because you're the next generation of what the city is going to be about, and that's great.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's part of why I love Lethbridge, is because it is such a small community that you can really make an impact with your actions. The people that you connect with and the causes that you get involved with in Lethbridge, I feel like it goes a long way to building that community that we have, whereas you might not get that so much in a big city with tons of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I really love living here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your sister, what does she do?
She is, she works in Calgary at David's Tea, actually. She manages one downtown. Yeah.
And you didn't have the opportunity to teach her pole dancing?
She doesn't live here. I would.
Fair enough. Well, when she comes to visit.
I'm sure we'd fight.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Right on. Well, that's good. Well, Kayla, it's been a pleasure having you in here this morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, and you're working down below our studio here in Plum. That's really cool.
Yeah, right close.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. So, if you could give advice to young people out there, who are pursuing a goal or whatever, what would you say to them?
One of my favorite quotes, I'm going to quote it wrong, but is that the secret to success is failing with enthusiasm. So things are going to go wrong. Your dreams might change a million times before you find what you want to do, but if you keep going forward with that enthusiasm and and honesty about who you are and what you want, I think you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, as long as you keep working for it and don't let those failures stop you.
Yeah. Okay, great. No, that's great. And would you say, like, not being afraid to fail?
Yeah, that's exactly it, because you're going to fail. You will. And being able to pick yourself up and keep working towards your goals, I think, is really what makes a difference.
Right.
So that's my advice, I
No,
guess.
that's awesome. That's great advice, because a lot of times our fear of getting into anything is our fear of failure. That's the biggest thing. Even in school, we always had that fear of failure. Oh man, I'm going to flunk this test, and right.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to change your mind.
Up, yeah.
I think people, especially with university, they decide on what degree they want, and then they do it, and even if they hate it or it feels like it doesn't fit for them, they feel like they can't change their mind because they're like, well, this is just what I'm doing. And
okay.
I say you can change your career path over and over. It can keep changing, and that's okay. And I think as long as you're being true to yourself and what you want and listening to yourself, then it's all right to change it a million times.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, that's good advice. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. And yeah, so all you listeners out there, listen to what Kayla's saying, because it's very good advice, and she's very successful for a young lady in this city. She's involved in everything, and that's really great. So thank you again for coming in this morning. Appreciate that very much. You've been watching Feel the Beat with DJ B here on Jess FM, Jess TV. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/JessFM, and on our website, jessfm.ca. You can watch live, listen live, wherever you are, 24/7 to our TV and our radio, as well as you'll be able to see our hosts and the programs that they host as well. So thank you again for tuning in, and this is DJ B saying have a great day.